wanted to talk again, like I do. Well, I heard yesterday this lady said, that she hates when people say don't judge a book by its cover. She's like, that's literally what the cover of the book is for, so that you can have an idea of what's inside the book, right? And I was like, oh shit, son. That is a valid point, okay? That's a super valid point. And you know me, I like to think outside the box a little bit, right? Here's my thing. I don't like the term judging, right? Judging implies a negative bias, right? Judging implies that you're just like, fuck this person, you know. It's very biased, right? You already have a specific opinion about them, right? Whereas like a term like discernment is different because there's no bias, you know. It's like you're not looking at it from the perspective of persecuting somebody. You're looking at it from the perspective of, here is the evidence, you know, and I'm going to follow what the evidence tells me, right? Like discerning somebody by the fruits of their labor, for example, you know. And I thought right now is a good time to like bring clarity to that, like the difference between discernment and judgment. Judgment is typically, it comes from your opinion of them, right? It's opinion based. Whereas discernment is like collecting data, right? It's like you observe patterns, behaviors, you observe, you know, certain things, and then you take it by what is shown to you, right? Like you let people show you who they are and discern from there. Is this the kind of energy I want in my life, or, you know, whatever. And it's not about opinions. It's not about hating on them. It's not about being like, well, I don't like them because they wear Crocs or whatever, you know. Like, it's not like that. It's like, it's more like, well, this person has been dishonest with me several times over very minuscule things. I don't feel that I can trust them. I'm discerning that I can't trust them because the evidence has shown me this, right? And, you know, I think because a lot of people say, oh, everybody judges, and I beg to differ. I don't think everybody judges, because I don't hate on somebody who's been dishonest with me. I don't feel like they're bad people necessarily. I just feel that they're not somebody that I feel I want in my life, right? That's not an energy that I want to carry with me, right? And so, I think it's important for us to really notice the differences there, to really like observe. And you know, it's all about like in relationships, for example. If somebody is showing you over and over a pattern of behavior, it's not judgmental to say that you don't want to deal with that behavior, right? It's not saying, I hate this person, da-da-da. It's just saying, this is going against my personal boundaries, actually. I don't like that. And, which is fair, right? It's totally fair. For example, if you really like somebody, but the pattern of behavior is showing that it's not reciprocated, right? They don't respond back to you quickly, or they, you know, and I mean, not that super matters, you know, whatever. Respond when you can, you know, but, you know, if they're showing you that they're not interested in you, their pattern of behavior is like, I like you as a homie, you know, and just being like, okay, I'm discerning that this is not going to be a relationship relationship situation, right? Which is fine, you know? It goes back to my last rant where nobody's entitled to anybody, and we should just appreciate what we get when we get it, you know? And that's something that, you know, I've instilled in my children too. Like, we can't, like, just because you want something doesn't mean that it's meant for you or that it's yours. And sometimes the universe is going to protect your energy by not allowing you to have certain things, right? And trusting that is a beautiful thing to do, right? To trust the universe. Because you could be like, man, I am Twitter pitted. I am struck by this person. But they may not feel that way, right? And my friend once told me this, and I fucking love it so much, because I went through something like that, you know? And my friend said, you could be the ripest, juiciest fucking peach in the world, right? The best peach ever. And you're gonna still find people who don't like peaches. Like, that's just, you know, the way it is. And it's okay, right? Like, that's not something that should ever make us feel less than or affect our confidence or whatever. Oh no, I dropped a thing. Oh well. But yeah, that's not something that should hurt you as a person because you're not somebody's flavor, right? Because I'm sure that there are people that you absolutely love that are just not your flavor, right? They're just not somebody that you see in that light, right? And that does not mean that you are not the juiciest fucking peach in the world. And guess what? There are people who fucking love peaches, okay? There are people who are gonna be like, I'm gonna make a peach crisp real fast, you know? Like, there are people who fucking love peaches. And so, don't allow the one fucking person who doesn't like peaches to affect how you feel about you, right? Like, hell no. Hell no, dog. I won't allow it. I'm kidding. But honestly, you know, it's, I think, very important for us to have so much self-love and self-acceptance that it doesn't fucking matter if somebody isn't into us. We're into us, right? We're into ourselves. And not in a narcissistic, egotistical kind of way, but in a way that you show up for yourself. You do self-care. You listen to your feelings. You allow yourself the space to feel your feelings, right? You don't let these things bring you down notches, right? Because, I mean, shit. I have met people who have literally said that Zoe Kravitz wasn't the hottest woman alive. And I was like, you're crazy. Like, what the fuck do you mean? That's insane. She is absolutely, okay? I don't want to hear none of that, you know? And one person's perspective of you does not equate everyone's perspective of you, right? So, there's that. And also, people who love you, who really do, they typically love the things about you that you don't love, right? They will take the pictures of you that you think are embarrassing as fuck. You're like, why did you take this picture? I look like absolute garbage. And they're like, this is my favorite version of you. What are you talking about? You know, you don't get to speak for other people in the way that they see you, right? Just like other people don't get to speak for you in the way that you see you, right? Like, self-love, I've learned, is a fucking superpower in today's day and age, because everything in the world is going to be trying to drag your ass down. Everything in the world is going to be like, oh, well, you need to have this kind of butt, or you need to have this kind of waist, and God forbid you have a line in your forehead, and fuck them, bro. Okay, Betty White was one of the sexiest bitches that ever lived. I'm sorry I called her that, but, you know, I mean it endearingly, okay? She was sexy as fuck, as old as she was, because her energy, you know? her energy, bro. Like, people don't understand. It's not all about this skin deep bullshit, right? It's like, energy can be so fucking sexy, bro. Confidence, self-love, that energy, sexy as fuck, right? Like, you want real beauty tips? Work on that shit, okay? Because that's the shit that matters. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter if you're 6 feet tall if you're a man, right? Or if you're 4 feet tall if you're a man. You know, it does not fucking matter. What's your energy like, okay? Some of the best relationships I've ever had were with short guys. So, you know, that is that. And I feel, I'm going off base here. This rant is like, now you get to see my ADHD tunnels where I go from like one subject to the next. I'm gonna go back to it though. Going back to discernment. So, judgment and discernment are very different. You know, it's critical thinking, right? In both areas. That's the similarity there. They're both critical thinking. They're both aspects of your survival, right? It's the survival instincts that tell you, you know, like, can I trust this person? Are they being real with me? Whatever. I always trust my intuition because I have not been wrong. So, you know, that's where I stand on that. I'm like, and so if you're ever feeling like, you know, like somebody doesn't have the best intentions for you or whatever, feel that, trust what you feel, you know, and check the data. Another thing that lady said when she, the book one, she also said, she was like, for people who are dating, right, or even if you make friends or whatever, I should link that video, actually. You should fucking watch it. It's so good. I love her. But, yeah, so, it's like psychotic dating advice or something. I don't know. Fucking, it was golden. I loved it. But she also recommended that, that you, like, keep a file on people when you date them. And I know that sounds fucking weird, right? It's psychotic dating advice. But she made a valid point about this, right? She would, like, do a voice memo after each date to kind of, like, be like, this is how I felt about him. This is kind of what transpired. So that, because you know how, like, over time you forget things. And then rose-colored glasses and all that. So, instead, she was, like, creating data, right? Which I'm all about. I love science, right? And so for me, I'm like, this is a social experiment. Yeah, so she would keep, like, you know, and it wasn't like to say, like, is this guy bad? Is this guy a loser? Whatever, you know. It's literally to discern how she felt about each date and to be very honest and open about that. Like, were there times that were off-putting? Were there, you know, like, did he catch an attitude? You know, whatever the case. Like, was he nice to the waiter? And upon, like, recording this, then, you know, she could go back before making any, like, final decisions and really assess her personal data to, like, decide if that was actually what she wanted to pursue. And I think that is the coolest dating advice I've ever heard. I was like, I have to share this with the people. And I'm gonna link that video because I absolutely loved it, and I feel that people fucking need that shit. We will need that. It was so raw, and her personality, dope. Okay, absolutely dope. I'm fangirling. Okay, just let me do it. But also, going back to my point about discernment, discernment is like, it's not judgment, because you're not, like, doing it to form an opinion. of them, right? It's to form your opinion on whether or not they belong in your life, right? Or whether or not you belong in a situation. Or, and I feel that this is an act of self-love, right? And it's not being a judgmental person. It's an act of self-love to be like, you know what? This person made me feel like crap, so I'm probably just not going to keep entertaining them, right? Maybe give them a chance to turn it around. But if it doesn't turn around, like, why would I continue entertaining that, And on the flippity flop, if like you like being around them, they make you feel good, like the data suggests that this is somebody who's good for your life, somebody who uplifts your spirit, somebody who makes you laugh, somebody that you can vibe with, somebody who isn't like trying to bring your ass down, like that's fucking nice, right? Like, let's get more of that in our lives, right? And I think like there are people I have loved so much that I've had to cut off, and it's not because I didn't love them. That's the hardest shit in the world, when you genuinely fucking love people, but you know that where they're at in life isn't good for you, or it's pulling you down a path that you don't want to go down. Like, that's self-love, right? Where you have to be like, you have to love people from afar sometimes, It doesn't take away the love that you feel for them. It doesn't mean that you're never going to be there for them if they need you. It's just saying, like, this is what's best for me. And I have to honor that, I have to honor what is best for me, because nobody else will, right? Nobody else is going to look out for you the way that you can look out for you. Nobody else is going to be on your team the way that you can be on your team, right? It's like Alexander the Great's mother once told him that, like, people or snakes are better than people, like, because snakes, they're predictable. If you come at them with hostility, or you take them by surprise, they're biting you, right? People, on the other hand, they could be your best friend for years, or they can be your lover for years, or they could be whatever, the closest person in the world to you for years, and then still turn around and fucking betray you, and that ain't right. That ain't right at all. And so I feel that, like, even over time, right, if you notice people's energy shifting, you notice their behaviors changing towards you, you notice shitty behaviors start to come out of somebody that you've had good rapport with, maybe it's time to step back, right? Because humans are not predictable, not in that sense, right? Humans could be the most unpredictable people. Like, most people who have been murdered by somebody that was close to them, right? Most people who have been raped or molested were raped or molested by people who were close to them. It's like statistic, that sometimes the people closest to you are the ones that you really can't fucking trust. And that's hard, right? It's hard to feel that and to see that and to know that, right? Because we want to see the best in people. We want to feel the best about them, right? We want that. And some people are just shitty, okay? And sometimes some people are good for a while, and eventually they're tired of being good, right? And then they become shitty. It's very interesting how that happens. And really, it's part of our self-love, or self-preservation even, to walk away from things that we know are kind of going in a bad direction, right? no love. It's on the contrary, because then you're telling this person also, you're setting an example for them that, like, you know, that they should, you know, also understand in their own personal life that if they're staying stuck in this energy or in these cycles and this whatever, that, you know, like, it's not, like, it's only going to push those that are closest to them away from them, right? It's very unfortunate that people have to learn that way. You know, it's like, I don't feel that it's, you know, a lot of the times it's not even malice that you're running away from. It's the draining ass energy that comes with negativity, right? It's like, I saw this video where this guy was like, people should complain, right? He's like, it's, you know, expression of your feelings, blah, blah, blah. And I hella disagree with him on that. Because when you're in the mindset of complaining, you're just going to attract more of what you're complaining about, right? Because that's what your energy is focused on. In the same way that if you have a lot of gratitude, you're going to attract more of what you can be grateful for, right? Like, there are healthy ways to express your feelings, like art or music or dancing or, you know, like sports. There are ways to work through feelings, right? And I feel that, like, if I had a friend that just perpetually was complaining to me every time, and that's different from venting, right? That's like with judgment and discernment, venting and complaining are very different things. Like, somebody can vent something because, and that's important, to have a safe space to be able to vent your feelings, and, you know, however, it's like, if all you ever hear from this person is, oh, the food is gross, oh, the service sucks, oh, like, people suck, da-da-da, you know, and it's just a constant string of complaining. That's not venting, right? It's just being negative. And for what? You know? Like, what is that going to get you? More negativity. And that's exactly why it's going to push me out of your life, because I ain't trying to be in that energy, right? Like, and so, yeah, it's another thing if somebody went through something and they're trying to process that on an emotional scale, and they need somebody that in a safe space, a safe person to talk about that stuff. That is very different, right? That is very different. I'm here for that, right? If people need to vent, if you're going through shit, if, like, you know, that is something I'm here for. So, you know, it's, and I feel that a lot of the times venting and complaining get mixed up for being the same thing, in the same way that judgment and discernment get mixed up for being the same thing. And I can see how that would get mixed up. However, I also see the huge defining line between them, right? Like, one is wanting to be in a negative headspace, and one is trying to get out of a negative headspace, right? Very different. So, yeah. This was a big one. I just, you know, I feel that, especially with all the books that we have in the world, everything gets lost in translation. Important messages get lost in translation. And that's why I feel like a big part of my personal path is to, like, set the record straight with some things, you know? Like understanding that another word for rapture is ascension, right? Buddhists talk about ascension all the time, right? And ascension is something that happens in your spirit, right? It's to ascend, right? To become an ascended master, you don't necessarily have to die for that, right? To ascend into nirvana. I mean, you could, I guess, but like, you don't necessarily have to. You can have nirvana in your lifetime. It's not unattainable. Do you want nirvana? You know, nirvana can seem dull to people who have significant amounts of trauma. Okay, because they're so used to that negative, like, energy. It's like when you get into your first healthy relationship after you've been in some really shitty ones, and then you're almost like, fuck, I'm so happy, I'm bored now, like, or, you know, and I know that sounds fucked up, but it's true. Like, I remember my first healthy relationship was with a Scorpio, by the way. It was amazing, but it was really hard for both of us, because we had, you know, like, some pretty toxic shit in the past, and when we came together, and we were like, we're breaking this cycle, we're gonna, you know, it's almost like the lack of fighting, the constant, like, open communication, all the things that are good became so boring, because we're so used to the other way, right? And so eventually we split up, you know. I have no negative feelings about him whatsoever. That was a beautiful experience, and I'm glad I had it. And when I've dated since, like, I've had, you know, healthy connections that have been dope. Not permanent ones, you know, like, definitely, like, some karmic soul partners or whatever, like, people I definitely felt a strong draw to or connection with. Well, like I've said before, I'm kind of one of those people. I almost said one of those guys. I'm one of those guys, you know, like, I may not be, like, a relationship person, and I don't think that's a problem, you know. It's like, it is what it is. And, you know, it took me, like, until I was fucking 30 to figure it out. So here we are. And, you know, that doesn't mean I won't, like, go and hang out with people and stuff. On the contrary, I love hanging out with people. I don't think relationships are really my gig, you know. And I think this is my gig, honestly. I think this, you know, coaches don't play. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel about it. And but I'm really glad that I had that experience too, because otherwise I'd have nothing to base anything off of, right? I wouldn't have that experience to understand how, like, your first healthy connection after a toxic one can be so, like, so what do we do next? You're not gonna yell at me or anything? Like, I didn't make you mad just then, you know? And then it's like, and then I'm like, but why aren't you making me mad? Why are you so dope? You know, and that's fucked up, that we get so emotionally fucked up in life that happens, you know? It's part of that negative bias in the brain. And something that I have really come to understand in my own life is that, you know, I think I really needed both. I really needed to have toxic connections as well as the healthy, in order to understand myself better, in order to learn about myself as a person and grow and do all the things I'm supposed to be doing, you know. Like, I needed that, and I'm glad that I had that. I think, you know, like, it gave me some spice to life, you know. It really helped with that character building. I just feel too that, like when you do want nirvana, when you do want ascension, right, you have to be willing to throw out some things that everybody else has and gets in life, right? For me, big one, relationships. Because I do want nirvana. I do want that ascension. And getting rid of sorry. Getting rid of that the carnal stuff, right? Because it's no longer about feeding the ego. It's no longer about, having relationships and having a normal life. And, it's like a monk, right? Like, I think that's a good way to compare it. Like, I've made sacrifices for my path. Not everyone's going to make those sacrifices. Not everyone wants to, right? I know some people that are like, man, I could not live without sex. That's fucking crazy. And, for me, it's not that hard. For me, it's like, I can live without sex. I can't live without this peace in my heart, though. That's something I won't trade in, I won't trade in what I feel now to feel like crap later, or to potentially feel like crap later. I won't do it. And I know that's like, it's a strange way, right? It's a strange path. It's the road less traveled, if you will. Any Robert Frost fans out there? I don't know. But yeah. And so, I've kind of dedicated my existence to this shit. And, I've given dating a try. A very good try. I've tried it. And I've had great experiences with great fucking people. And I've had bad experiences with great fucking people. And I'm so grateful for what I've had. I just feel like I've had my love story, if that makes sense. I've had it. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be a player no more. So sorry, that song just came on. But does that stop me from flirting every now and then? Hell no. I'm gonna make people feel cute, okay? But I'm an Aquarius, dog. Like, obviously, I'm gonna be making people feel cute. That's what I like to do. I'm a light worker, right? And so, yeah, I just feel that this journey has been such a beautiful, life. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. It's been a beautiful fucking journey, and I'm really grateful for what I've had, the experiences I've had, even the embarrassing shit, because at the end of the day, it made me, right? It created me, it sculpted me, and into somebody that I could love, right? And in today's day and age, being somebody that you can love is hard, because we're all being taught not to love ourselves, that we always need something else. We need gym memberships, and we need diets, and we need whatever other cosmetic shit we need. And obviously I like cosmetics, right? I like it for me, and I do it for the ladies, okay? If I get my nails done, it ain't no man telling me, I love your nails. Hell no, it ain't no man. You know who it is? It's all the ladies. They're like, I love your nails. Where'd you get them done? Da-da-da-da-da. That's why I loved getting my nails done. What man has ever been like, I love your nails? Right? What man has ever been like, your eyelashes are on fleek? No man. Okay? I do that for the ladies. And I think, it's time to recognize. Time to understand. It's like, I saw this post the other day where this girl's like, she was like, men think that we dress for them, but if men didn't exist, I would dress even sluttier. And I was like, fuck yes. That's it. Like, sometimes when you look good, you feel good, you know? And it's not even like a vanity thing. It's a self-care or whatever, you know? But anyway, that's pretty much the end of my rant. I love you guys. This has been a fun one, and I will see you later. And namaste. I can't believe that's the first time I didn't say it.